Hello there, welcome to Learning English is Fun with me, Teacher Fidelis. And today we shall look at an essay question and how you can answer an essay question using the short story, A Man of Awesome Power. So check out the previous video. I have done a synopsis on this story. And the question that I want us to discuss is this. You can write it down if you have a pen, a paper. You can write it on your laptop. Just write it somewhere. That when someone is given too much power, they can misuse it. When someone is given too much power, they can misuse it. Write an essay to validate this statement using the short story, A Man of Awesome Power. So remember what we said when writing essays, that you're supposed to look at the key words in a question and then make sure that you don't repeat those keywords in your introduction. An introduction carries 2 marks. So if you get 1 mark, you get a fair. If you get 2 marks, you get a full. When someone is given too much power, they can misuse it. When someone is in control, they can use this for their own gain. When doing an introduction, you can either do a paraphrase, that is a general introduction, or you can actually do a contextualized introduction, or you can actually use both. Those 3 ways would work. Then for the body of this particular essay, then you must have four paragraphs. In those 4 paragraphs, give complete information. Start with a topic sentence, go to background information, and have a clincher. So you want to look at how Tayyib misuses his God-given power just for his own amusement, or just to satisfy his ego, to see that he has done something just because he has that power. So you can actually use the episodes that we have in A Man of Awesome Power, that story. And the very first one we can use is the taxi driver incident. See, Tayyib used to go to town or to the city every day. And even before Tayyib had this awesome power, he used to get irritated. He used to get angry. But since he got this particular power, then his level of irritation is even more. It's even worse. And what Tayyib does, he leaves his house as he habitually did, and he wants to go to the heart of the city to take a cup of coffee. He wants to go to the cafe. So when you start writing, look at a topic sentence that actually answers the question at hand. When someone has too much power, they can misuse it. So what kind of power does Tayyib have? And in this particular episode, how does he misuse this power? So you can come up with a topic sentence like this. Tayyib misuses his power when he causes the rear tires of the taxi to explode. Tayyib misuses his power when he causes the rear wheels of the taxi to explode. Now, why does he do this? He hails the taxi driver to stop, but he haughtily refuses to stop and speeds off. Tayyib is angry because the taxi driver does not stop. And for a moment, he thinks, someone who has such an awesome power as me should not use it, should only use it for good. Someone who has such an awesome power as me should just use it for good. So he takes that moment to actually think about doing something good, but that irritation gets better of him. And then for a moment, he thinks that he could use his power to cause an accident. And he just focuses on the rear wheels of the taxi, and the 2 explode like a bomb. What happens to the taxi driver? He's agitated, he stops, and then gets out of the car and then drums his palms together in frustration. Tayyib walks by and asks him, "Can I be of any help?" Why does he do this? He feels that he has taught this man a lesson. And he's just being hypocritical by asking this man if he needs any help, knowing that he is the very person who has caused the accident. So another thing to remember, as you use the information from this episode, getting the background information, ensure that you use present tense. It's a discussion you're having. It's not a narration. Anytime you narrate, when you answer these essay questions, then you miss out on your marks. Then have a clincher. A clincher is just concluding the paragraph that you have. How do you conclude your work? You can conclude by saying Tayyib misuses his power by causing agony to the taxi driver. Episode 2, you can use the bus shelter incident. The bus shelter incident. Once this taxi business happens, remember Tayyib was going to the city, to the heart of the city, and this does not stop him. Like, his journey does not end there. So he goes to the bus stop and waits for a bus. And when he's standing there, he sees an argument erupt between a man and a woman. Yes. So that is the episode that we use for paragraph 2. But then, again, you have to come up with a topic sentence. Tayyib misuses his power when he causes severe cramps to the man who slaps a woman. Tayyib misuses his power when he causes severe cramps to the man who slaps a woman. That's a good topic sentence. Then go back and give background information. What happened? Why did he cause these severe cramps? What did the man do? So talk about him stopping or waiting for a bus at the bus shelter, and then there's an argument between a man and a woman, but they were a bit far, and so Tayyib could not tell the dimension of that argument. He tries to figure out what is happening, and at that time, the man impulsively hits the woman or slaps the woman. Tayyib is agitated again, and he uses his power to cause severe cramps to the man. The man is in pain. He doubles over and falls down, and the bus does not even leave the bus shelter until an ambulance comes to fetch him. The people around who are watching what was happening, the people around say, that man deserves it for his bad manners. And that gives Tayyib a push. He feels that he has done the right thing. And so he just goes away feeling that he has achieved what he was supposed to achieve. And then once you're done with that, again, come up with a clincher. Paragraph 3, you can use Tayyib getting to the cafe. He sits down and starts listening to the radio. But what does he do at that particular point? He causes severe sneezing to the radio broadcaster. So come up with a topic sentence. Do you have any topic sentence that you can come up with? And in this case, remember, you're looking at Tayyib causing massive sneezing to the radio broadcaster. So again, Tayyib misuses his power by causing severe sneezing or excessive sneezing to the radio broadcaster. Why does he do this? Go ahead and give us some background information. Tayyib was agitated because he wanted to hear about things the government had done and not just promises of what the government would do. But who is in the wrong here? Is it the government or the radio broadcaster? And so you see what happens. Tayyib does not even pause to think about the government. He uses his power to punish the radio announcer. So Tayyib decides to punish this radio announcer, even though the radio announcer was not the one who was in charge of making sure that everything is happening. Why does he do this? He causes excessive sneezing, and the man tries to broadcast, but then he started sneezing. He keeps sneezing until he does not know what to do. So he plays a song that says, "Walk around and see." At that point, Tayyib promises himself that any person who tries to report on things that had not happened, he would cause either severe sneezing or he would cause them to emit trailing sounds like those made by women, or they would get diarrhea, severe diarrhea. So Tayyib misuses his power. For the episode, we can use the tea garden episode. Tayyib decides to go to the tea garden to come up with a comprehensive plan on how to deal with issues affecting his country. As he's seated there, he sees a beautiful woman. And this beautiful woman was looking at the ducks in a lake. And then for a moment, he's mesmerized by the beauty of this woman, and he thinks he can actually send a message, a hidden message to this woman making her fall in love with him. The kind of joy, the kind of happiness he gets from seeing this woman is something he had never gotten since he married Hania. Remember, Hania is his wife, yeah. So he sends a hidden message to the woman, and within a second, the woman looks at him and she falls head over heels in love with him. And together they surrender to their fate. And at that point, Tayyib then forgets his faith and he forgets everything about his marriage. He forgets everything. By the time he gets back home, he notices that he has lost his awesome power. He cannot move the chairs, he cannot change the channels from channel 1 to channel 2, and he gets gloomy. And that is how Tayyib loses his power. So in the topic sentence, what do you say then? You can say that Tayyib misuses his power when he forces the woman at the tea garden to fall in love with him. Then, as usual, once you're done writing, have a clincher. The last bit in this essay, you should have a conclusion, and in your conclusion, then you should have a word or a phrase that shows that indeed this is a conclusion. Remember not to add any new information. So you can say, to summarize, don't use the question as it is. Like, don't say in conclusion, someone who has too much power misuses it. No. Paraphrase, get another paraphrase, use other words to mean whatever the question is asking, but don't use the same words. And with that, then you'll have written your essay on a man of awesome power. Remember, an introduction must be there and it must be valid. A conclusion have to be there and it has to be valid, and your 4 points. And with that, you can easily get your good score. And remember, for the language mark, you get your language mark depending on how many marks you have in the body of the essay. So if you have, say, 8 to 10, you'll get a very good score in the language area. So is there any other question that you have seen from this story that you'd want us to look at? Let me know in the comment section below. Make sure that you watch the next episode. We shall be looking at incident in the park and some of the questions that we can actually answer using this particular story. Until next time, it's a goodbye from me.